All right, you guys, we're going to talk about the circadian rhythm, the heart, gallbladder, organ intestine, kidneys, liver, lung, stomach, spleen, sunjaw, pericardium, small intestine. So 1 to 3 a.m. is the liver, 3 to 5 a.m. is the lungs, 5 to 7 a.m. is the large intestine, 7 to 9 a.m. is the stomach, 9 to 11 a.m. is the spleen, the heart is 11 to 1, the small intestine is 1 to 3 p.m. Excuse me. The bladder is 3 to 5 p.m. Kidney is 5 to 7 p.m. The pericardium is 7 to 9 p.m. And the sunjaw is 9 to 11 p.m. The gallbladder is 11 to 1 a.m. So I won't go into every little detail here, but the liver has to do with anger, stress, resentment, pent-up emotions, controlling the emotions, depression. For my patients, you know this book, Healing with Whole Foods. And when you go to the wood element, this is a book I've been referring to since 1994. These are some of the emotional signs. These are some of the physical signs. These are some of the physical emotional signs. These are some of the emotional signs, the physical signs, some of the emotional signs. These are some of the foods to focus on when it comes to the liver. So, some of the emotional signs. So if you have any of these emotional signs and you're waking up between 1 to 3 a.m., that means your acupuncturist really needs to focus on relaxing your liver. A common diagnosis anywhere in the world with any acupuncturist, any Chinese medical doctor, is liver qi stagnation or liver fire, liver yang rising, any of those things. If you're dealing with stress to certain levels, this time needs to relax. This organ system needs to relax. The energy of the liver has to do with anger, stress, resentment, pent-up emotions, controlling the emotions. So if you are waking up between 1 to 3 a.m., that means you're balanced. You have an imbalance in your liver energy. We want to strengthen your lungs. Old school acupuncturists, like centuries ago, would actually go to the patient's home if there's a lung issue and actually treat at that time frame. But I'm not treating someone at 3 to 5 a.m. But you can be doing Qigong at that time, or you can do some deep breathing at that time. 5 to 7 a.m., this is a wonderful time to have a bowel movement. Before, years ago, I used to have bowel issues. I was diagnosed with IBS many, many years ago, over 30 years ago, which I don't have anymore because Chinese medicine fixed it. When I decided to have a bowel movement, because before it would be like 1 to 2 times a week or 1 to 2 times every other week, and I did not feel voided. A little trick that I give people is get yourself a squatty potty. Choose an ideal time that you're going to have a bowel movement every day for the rest of your life. And sit there, I don't know, 10 minutes if possible till your butt gets numb. That squatty potty is going to help tremendously. And this is an amazing time because you are having a bowel movement at the ideal time for your colon. Have a book, have a magazine next to you, read, take the time to just relax. And yeah, that's a great time to have bowel movement. 7 to 9, stomach time, breaking the fast. You have the spleen, you have the heart, you have the small intestine, you have the bladder, you have the kidneys. If we have kidney issues and we really want to strengthen your Jing Qi, one of my favorite spots in this book, Fire, Earth, Metal, Water, Jing Tonic, So going to this water element and really learning foods to strengthen the Jing Qi, nurturing the Jing source of kidney vitality. Factors that deplete Jing: stress, fear, insecurity, and overwork. Too much semen loss in men greatly reduces Jing. Women bearing too many children. I like a 3-year difference between births because that's what I was taught. 3-year difference between birth to conception. And I lived by it. I have my kids, they were 13, 7, and 0. When Tommy was born, I was 43. So I really lived by this. Pericardium channel, 7 to 9. Sun jiao, triple section of your upper, middle, lower jiao, 9 to 11. 11 to 1 a.m. is the gallbladder. So one of my favorite fertility patients informed me that there's something to the circadian rhythm, and you notice I went straight to the liver meridian. So have fun. Since we're here, I will share this. Metal, water, shui, jin, shui, mu, wei, tu. So fire, earth, metal, water, wood. When I'm treating the hormones, I'm especially focusing on these: the earth, the water, the wood. The earth. You're getting a crash course right now in fire, earth, metal. Getting a crash course right now into my consultation where I really break this down. Where's my earth? Here it is. Interchange of all the seasons, foods. Lots of damp issues in the United States of California. So, too many ingredients in a meal, late night eating, overeating, foods that are refined or highly processed. We love to eat in the United States, don't we? Really creates dampness. So, dietary suggestions for deficient spleen pancreas. So another common diagnosis in Chinese medicine world, anywhere around the world, is spleen qi deficiency, especially dampness. If you love to eat, if you love ice cold drinks, that is us in the United States. We love our ice cold drinks. So we are talking about this organ system right here. We love to deplete this organ system. When I treat this improves, and this whole thing improves. I love to treat the earth, but if someone has dampness, we got to figure out what's going on with these organ systems, right? So that's supposed to look like a flame. Fire has to do with the heart and the small intestine. This has to do with the spleen, pancreas, and the stomach. So mother, son, mother, son, mother, son, grandmother, grandson, grandmother, grandson, grandmother, grandson. So one of my favorite pages in this book, one of my favorite pages in this book is Fire, Earth, Heart. Let's see. So we're going into fire element. This is one of my favorite pages in this book. Oyster shell, mushrooms. Mushrooms in general are anti-cancer, but you can look that up. Silicone foods, so check that out. If you need the link to it, or you can just get it on Amazon, I'll put the link. You can get it on Amazon to really help with the fire. Fire. This has to do with joy and sadness. This here has to do with worry, overthinking. Who does not worry or overthink? I had a prescription given to me when I was in when I was an acupuncturist. I had a master tell me, Anna, don't think, but if you think, act. I'm going kind of reverse. You know, we're going to use an actual green. That's not green enough. That is not green enough. And these colors do matter. These are not random colors, okay? These are not random colors. These are colors that are pertinent. The earth can be brown or yellow. Let's use a brown color. The kids take my stuff. Let's use more of this. This looks more orangey. Oh, you know, I already used we're looking for green actually. A better green. So this is more of a green. So remember when we were talking about wood? This has the liver, gallbladder. Let's go back. Fire, earth, metal, water, wood. Remember when we were talking about the liver moves the tendons, the eyes, gallbladder. So there's a common diagnosis called wood attacking earth. If someone has stress and that stress is so intense, it causes things like IBS, constant acid reflux kind of stuff. When we're looking at hypertension, I'm typically looking at that organ system, not just here. I'm looking at these two. When we're talking about weight loss, I'm looking here, I'm looking here, and then this one too. So the flavor so you see cleanse. This is very spring type foods. One of the first signs of liver disharmony is emotional difficulty related to anger, impatience, frustration. Chi energy. So let's go to some of the foods. Bitter and sour foods to reduce excess of the liver. So bitter, sour, overstimulation of sweet, overstimulation of salty, spicy. We're not talking about sriracha. We're talking about different kinds of spicy. So let's go to the fire, earth. Because the heart is the emperor. We never want anything going on with the heart. But in our culture, we have so many heart stuff. So many heart stuff. So let's talk about foods. We have the information age. Bitter flavor of any food enters and affects the heart. So bitter is also here. So I go really into detail in private consultation, but I mean, I can go on and on, but I just focused on when we're talking about grief, and we're talking about anxiety and fear. There's so much more, but you just got a crash course in a consultation.